Welcome back to our exploration of the Mahabharata. Today, we delve into one of its most pivotal and emotionally charged moments, the final, fateful confrontation between the two greatest archers of their time, Arjuna, the Pandav prince guided by Sri Krishna, and Karna, the tragic hero fighting for the Kauravas. The Kurukshetra War reached its 17th day, the air thick with tension, grief, and the clash of divine weapons. The fate of the war, and indeed the world, hangs precariously in the balance as these two titans finally meet in a duel destined by fate and fraught with history. Let us now witness these two legendary figures, each a warrior, each a legend in his own right, brought together by destiny, entangled in curses, and surrounded by divine intervention. On this blood-soaked battlefield, they are each destined to engage in a duel that will test the very limits of their prowess and resolve. The atmosphere on the battlefield was a chaotic expanse, with dust and blood marking the intensity of the war. Bhimsen, Arjuna's formidable brother, and Sri Krishna urged Arjuna to use his most potent weapons against Karna, their words echoing the grim necessity of the task ahead. Hearing them, a profound resolution settled upon Arjuna. Understanding his purpose, his dharma in this great war, he turned to Sri Krishna and, with a voice resonating with conviction, expressed his intent. He resolved that for the welfare of the world, and specifically for the end of Karna, he would now unleash a great and terrible weapon. He sought the blessings and command of Sri Krishna, Lord Brahma, Lord Shankar, all the gods, and all the knowers of Brahman for this mighty act. Having stated his intent, Arjuna, also known as Savyasachi, for his ambidextrous mastery, invoked the Brahmastra, a celestial weapon of immense power, guided not merely by the bow, but by the mind itself. This was no ordinary arrow, it was a surge of cosmic energy, summoned to bring a decisive end. As Arjuna unleashed the Brahmastra, a wave of power surged across the battlefield. But Karna, ever Arjuna's equal in skill, was ready. With astonishing speed and precision, he countered the divine weapon. It was a testament to his extraordinary archery prowess that he could intercept and neutralize the energy of the Brahmastra with a sheer volume of expertly aimed shafts. The first major gambit had been countered. Seeing the Brahmastra neutralized, Bhimsen, ever the passionate heart of the Pandavas, grew furious. Turning to Arjuna, his voice booming with urgency, he exclaimed that everyone knew Arjuna's mastery over the Brahmastra was unmatched. Perhaps it was time for another divine weapon. Aim something else, he urged, his words reflecting the rising intensity of the battle. Heeding Bhim's words and understanding the need for overwhelming force, Arjuna drew upon another potent weapon. Placing it upon his Gandhiv bow, he released it. Every corner of the battlefield was filled, not just with arrows, but with fierce tridents, axes, discus, and countless other weapons. They rained down in the hundreds, claiming the lives of warriors all around. Somebody's head fell off, another collapsed out of sheer terror. Somebody ran away on seeing a fellow warrior fall. In this brutal display of power, Arjuna systematically eliminated the key warriors guarding Karna, clearing the field for the final duel. On the other side, Karna, undeterred by the chaos engulfing his allies, responded with equal ferocity. He unleashed thousands of arrows at Arjuna, a golden stream against Arjuna's fiery torrent. Then, with remarkable accuracy, Karna targeted the occupants of Arjuna's chariot. He struck Bhimsen, Sri Krishna, and Arjuna with piercing arrows, a calculated move meant to wound and distract the key figures on the Pandav side. Arjuna, however, was relentless. He immediately answered Karna's challenge with a volley of arrows, each aimed with deadly precision. Yet Arjuna's fury was only beginning. A devastating wave followed, felling 400 elephant riders, 800 charioteers, 1,000 horsemen, and 8,000 infantry. He then unleashed a concentrated storm of arrows upon Karna. The onslaught was so intense that Karna, his charioteer Shalya, his horses, chariot, and banner vanished behind a curtain of deadly shafts. Karna was now invisible, cut off from his army. Panic swept through the Kaurav ranks. Thinking their leader was being overpowered, they cried out in desperation, urging Karna to finish Arjuna quickly, fearing that he would destroy them all. Then, he struck Karna with 12 arrows, followed immediately by another 7. Blood began to flow more freely from Karna's body. Karna retaliated, hitting Arjuna with 3 arrows and then, aiming specifically to kill Sri Krishna, he shot 5 powerful shafts. These arrows struck Krishna's armor and fell to the ground after hitting him. Seeing his beloved friend and guide targeted so maliciously infuriated Arjuna. He unleashed a torrent of shining, deadly arrows, aiming for Karna's vital spots. The impact was severe. Karna felt excruciating pain and became agitated, his composure wavering. Within moments, Arjuna systematically eliminated every single warrior tasked with protecting Karna. Seeing this utter devastation and the complete isolation of Karna, the remaining Kaurav princes, Duryodhana's brothers, abandoned Karna and fled in terror. The battlefield around Karna became deserted, filled only with the dead, the dying. Karna looked around and saw only fear and emptiness. Yet, drawing upon his immense willpower, he steadied himself and stood firm. Arjuna, embodying a truly fierce aspect, seemed poised to burn the remaining Kauravas to ashes. Sensing the tide turning against him, Karna invoked a powerful weapon known as the Varunastra, a devastating enemy-destroying weapon he had received from his guru, Parshuram. With it, Karna silenced Arjuna's weapon and pierced him with a series of sharpened arrows. At that moment, both Karna and Arjuna unleashed such a storm of arrows that the entire sky was covered. They attacked each other with relentless fury. It was during this critical moment that another force entered the battle, unseen by most. A serpent named Ashwasena, who had once survived the burning of the Khandav forest and harbored deep hatred towards Arjuna, saw his chance for revenge. Rising from the netherworld, Ashwasena sped toward the battlefield. Taking the form of an arrow, he secretly entered Karna's quiver. As the duel raged on, Karna realized he was unable to decisively overpower Arjuna. He remembered a special weapon he had long reserved for this very moment, the serpent-headed arrow. This was no ordinary arrow, it was massive, terrifying, and glowed with an eternal flame, having been forged in fire. Karna had treasured this weapon for years, worshipping it daily, and had kept it safely in a golden quiver lined with sandalwood powder, intended solely for killing Arjuna. He drew this dreaded arrow. As he placed it on his bowstring and began to aim, the vengeful Ashwasena slithered onto the shaft, merging his venomous power with the weapon. Karna's charioteer, King Shalya, noticed that the aim of the arrow was slightly off. Alarmed, he warned Karna that if he released it as it was, it might miss Arjuna's throat. He urged him to re-aim carefully and ensure it struck the head. Karna, already under pressure and perhaps fueled by pride, reacted angrily to Shalya's suggestion. He declared that he does not aim twice, warriors like him do not resort to deceit. With that defiant statement, Karna released the arrow he had worshipped for years. As it soared through the air, he roared at Arjuna, "Arjuna! You are dead!" The serpent arrow blazed forward, a terrifying streak of light hurtling toward Arjuna. Seeing it approach with tremendous speed, Sri Krishna acted instantaneously. With divine precision, he pressed down on the chariot with his foot. The immense weight caused the wheels to sink slightly into the earth. At the same moment, the gold-adorned horses instinctively knelt and bowed low to the ground. The deadly arrow, aimed at Arjuna's throat, missed its target. Instead, it struck Arjuna's magnificent crown. This was no ordinary crown, it was renowned across the earth, heavens, and Varunlok. It radiated like the sun, moon, and fire combined. Crafted by Lord Brahma himself for Indra, it was infused with divine power and fragrance. When Arjuna embarked on his campaign to slay the demons, Indra had been so pleased that he personally placed this crown upon Arjuna's head. Now, that glorious crown fell to the ground, burning, shattered by the poisonous fire of the serpent. Yet Arjuna did not panic. He stood firm, unshaken. At that moment, he had been saved from the jaws of death, for the serpent-headed arrow had been none other than Ashwasena, the son of Takshak himself. The serpent Ashwasena, having failed to kill Arjuna but having destroyed his crown, tried to return to Karna's quiver, hoping for a second chance. But Karna noticed him and questioned his presence. Ashwasena told Karna that his aim had been flawed and that he had not aimed properly, hence, he couldn't sever Arjuna's head. He insisted Karna re-aim and assured him that he would certainly kill their common enemy, Arjuna. He revealed his identity as Ashwasena and told Karna that Arjuna had killed his mother during the burning of the Khandav forest. Karna, however, firmly refused. He declared that he would not rely on someone else's strength for victory, no matter the circumstances. Even if it meant killing 100 Arjuns, he would not fire the same arrow twice. He dismissed Ashwasena and told him to leave, saying that he possessed both a serpent weapon and the righteous anger needed to defeat Arjuna himself. Ashwasena, burning with rage and unable to accept this rejection, decided to attack Arjuna directly. Taking his massive, terrifying serpent form, he soared through the air toward Arjuna. Shri Krishna, seeing and recognizing the threat, immediately warned Arjuna. He revealed that the serpent was none other than Ashwasena, the son of Takshak, who had survived the Khandav fire by being hidden inside his mother's body, his mother, whom Arjuna had unknowingly killed. The serpent had held this grudge ever since and now sought revenge. Alerted, Arjuna quickly fired 6 razor-sharp arrows at the charging serpent. The arrows struck with precision, slicing Ashwasena into pieces. With the immediate danger gone, Shri Krishna effortlessly lifted the sunken chariot wheels, restoring the chariot's balance. Almost immediately after this intense moment, Karna struck both Shri Krishna and Arjuna again with his arrows and roared with laughter. Karna's laughter and expression of joy grated on Arjuna. Unable to tolerate it, Arjuna responded with overwhelming force. He pierced Karna's vital spots, striking with the force of Yam's death rod. Karna's body was riddled with wounds, and the pain became immense. His magnificent crown, studded with jewels and gold, fell completely. His glittering, costly armor, meticulously crafted over time by skilled artisans, was shattered into pieces by Arjuna's relentless arrows within moments. Arjuna then landed more sharp shafts, wounding Karna further. The cumulative impact was too much. Karna's grip loosened, his bow slipped from his grasp, and he collapsed unconscious onto his chariot. Seeing his adversary fall helpless, Arjuna, ever the adherent to the warrior's code, paused. He momentarily abandoned the thought of killing Karna while he was unconscious and vulnerable. But Shri Krishna urged Arjuna to finish a fallen enemy swiftly, before he could recover his strength and attack again. Acknowledging Shri Krishna's wisdom, Arjuna raised his Gandhiv once more and began showering the unconscious Karna, his chariot, and his horses with specialized arrows called Vatsdant, resuming the attack with full force. Karna regained consciousness and, remarkably, managed to maintain his composure. He retaliated swiftly, striking both Arjuna and Shri Krishna. In response, Arjuna prepared to launch another devastating, possibly final arrow. It was at this precise moment that Karna's doom, foretold by curses, began to manifest physically. Time itself, the invisible Kal, whispered to Karna, reminding him of the curse placed upon him long ago by the enraged Brahman. Kal informed him that his end was near. The earth now desired to swallow his chariot wheel. Simultaneously, the knowledge of the Brahmastra, the ultimate weapon taught to him by his guru Parshuram, began to fade from his mind as another curse took effect, the price for lying about his identity to his teacher. And just as foretold, the left wheel of Karna's magnificent chariot began to sink into the earth, becoming firmly trapped in the soil. Disasters piled up all at once, leaving Karna overwhelmed. A wave of despair washed over him. Unable to bear the weight of these simultaneous misfortunes, he began to lament, criticizing the very concept of Dharma he had striven in his own way to uphold. Waving his hands in distress, he cried out, "They always say Dharma protects the righteous. I have always tried my best to follow Dharma according to the scriptures and to the best of my capacity. Yet, today, Dharma itself seems to be destroying me, not protecting me. I can only conclude that Dharma does not always shield its followers." Karna himself felt weak from constant arrow strikes and blood loss. Yet, amidst his despair and criticism of Dharma, he continued to fight, firing arrows at Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna responded instantly, striking him with thunderbolt-like arrows that pierced him deeply. Arjuna countered Karna's attempt by invoking his celestial weapons, raining arrows down. For a brief moment, Karna managed to destroy Arjuna's incoming attack. Weakened and partially disarmed, he still fought back with surprising resilience, even managing to cut Arjuna's bowstring an astonishing 11 times in rapid succession. For a fleeting moment, Karna's sheer skill and desperate courage seemed to shine brighter even than Arjuna's. When Sri Krishna saw Arjuna struggling under Karna's fierce attack, he urged him to act quickly. He told Arjuna to pick up his weapon and move closer to strike. Arjuna mounted the Rudrastra onto his bow, readying it for release. At that very moment, Karna's chariot wheel suddenly sunk deep into the earth. Realizing the danger, Karna quickly got down and began trying to lift the wheel with both hands. It is said that he lifted the earth with its 7 islands, mountains, and forests 4 inches up, yet the wheel remained stuck. Frustration overwhelmed him. Tears started flowing from his eyes, and looking at Arjuna, he said, "Kunti's son, you are a great archer, wait for a moment until I take out my stuck wheel. You should not follow the path of mean men." He reminded Arjuna that good conduct alone suited him. A warrior whose hair is disheveled, who is running away, who is a Brahman, who is folding his hands, who has come seeking refuge and is praying for his life, who has put down his weapons, who does not have arrows, whose armor has been cut, or whose weapons have fallen or broken, such a warrior is not attacked by those who follow the highest warrior vows. He said, "You too are a brave and virtuous person. You know the rules of war. You have immersed yourself in the deep knowledge of the Upanishads. You know divine weapons and possess a generous heart. You have even defeated Kartvirya in battle. O mighty armed one, wait until I lift this stuck wheel. You are on the chariot, and I am on the ground. Also, I am very nervous, so it is not appropriate to attack me now." Hearing Karna's words, Sri Krishna finally spoke. He said that it was indeed ironic Karna remembered Dharma now, in a moment of personal distress. Sri Krishna observed that it was often seen that those who lived without righteousness would, when caught in trouble, begin to speak of fate and Dharma, conveniently forgetting their own past misdeeds. He reminded Karna that Dharma was not present when the Pandavas were denied the return of their kingdom, even after the 13th year of exile had been completed as per the agreement. He asked where Dharma was when Duryodhan fed poisoned food to Bhimsen and had him thrown into the river, bound and attacked by snakes. He questioned Karna's sense of righteousness during the conspiracy to burn the Pandavas alive in the flammable house at Varnavath, in which Karna had actively participated. Sri Krishna then spoke of the moment when the helpless Draupadi was dragged into the Kaurava assembly hall during her menstrual period and disrobed by Dushasana. He reminded Karna that he had actively taken part in her humiliation, mocking her by saying that the Pandavas were finished, doomed forever, and that she should choose another husband. Sri Krishna questioned where Karna's dharma had been then, when a helpless woman was being dishonored in a full court. Sri Krishna reminded him of the time when, driven by greed for the kingdom, Karna had supported Shakuni and Duryodhan in luring the Pandavas back for a second, deceitful game of dice. He also questioned the absence of dharma when young Abhimanyu, still a boy, was trapped and killed unfairly by Karna and several other warriors attacking him together. Sri Krishna said that if none of those actions had reflected dharma, then invoking it now, when death was near, served no real purpose. He told Karna that no amount of righteous appeals could save him in this life. The Pandavas, righteous despite their long suffering, would reclaim their kingdom through the strength of their arms. Sri Krishna declared that the sons of Dhritarashtra would be destroyed at the hands of these great warriors. As Sri Krishna said this, Karna bowed his head in deep shame and was unable to give any reply. But still, he picked up his bow, and with great speed, resumed fighting with Arjuna. At that moment, Sri Krishna said to Arjuna, "Injure Karna with a Divyastra and kill him." On hearing this from the Lord, Arjuna remembered all the atrocities committed by Karna, and his anger intensified. Karna invoked the Brahmastra and aimed it at Arjuna. Arjuna countered it with his own Brahmastra. After that, Arjuna fired the Agneyastra, which blazed with a fierce brilliance. But Karna neutralized it with the Varunastra. As a result, clouds gathered in the sky, and darkness spread in all directions. Yet Arjuna remained unshaken and blew away the clouds with the Vayavyastra. Karna then picked up a terrifying arrow, blazing like fire, and placed it on his bow to kill Arjuna. As he did so, the entire earth, mountains, forests, began to tremble. Karna released the arrow, and it struck Arjuna's chest like a thunderbolt. Dazed by the deep wound, Arjuna grew dizzy, his grip loosened, the Gandhiv began to slip from his hands, and his entire body trembled. Meanwhile, Karna took the opportunity to jump down from his chariot to lift the sunken wheel. He tried with all his strength to free it, holding it with both hands, but failed in his attempt. Arjuna regained alertness and raised an arrow as deadly as Yamdand in his hand. Sri Krishna then commanded, "Cut off Karna's head before he climbs back onto the chariot." Arjuna first shot a blazing arrow at Karna's flag. The flag shattered and fell, and with its fall, the pride, fame, victory, and ambitions of the Kauravas also collapsed. Arjuna took out an arrow called Anjalik, which was as powerful as Indra's Vajra and Yamdand. It was about 2.5 feet long and had 6 feathers, making it swift and sharp. That arrow was as terrifying as Lord Shiva's Pinak and Sri Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. Mounting it on the Gandhiv, Arjuna said, "If I have performed penance, served my elders with devotion, conducted yagyas, and heeded the wise counsel of my well-wishers, then by the power of this truth, may this arrow destroy my fierce enemy, Karna." Saying this, Arjuna released the dreadful arrow. It shone as brightly as the sun and illuminated the sky in all directions. It was the 3rd quarter of the day. In that very moment, Arjuna's arrow struck and severed Karna's head. His head fell to the ground, his body collapsed, blood gushing from the wound. At that time, a radiant light emerged from Karna's body, ascended into the sky, and merged into the sun. Thus ended the most awaited duel of the Mahabharata, Arjuna and Karna, 2 titans shaped by fate, meeting at the peak of destiny. But this was more than a clash of arrows, it was a collision of inner worlds, of loyalty and longing, pride and pain, choices made and chances lost. Karna, born to greatness yet denied belonging, carried the weight of rejection his whole life. His loyalty to Duryodhan was fierce, not just out of gratitude, but as defiance against a world that never gave him his due. And yet, it's about how loyalty, when misplaced, can become a chain, binding a man to a path that leads not to glory, but to ruin. In that loyalty, noble yet blinding, Karna lost sight of himself. Arjuna, on the other hand, torn between emotion and duty, found strength not in certainty, but in surrender, trusting Krishna when the heart wavered. Their battle was not just about right and wrong, but about how pride, identity, and the desire to be seen can shape our destiny. Karna's fall wasn't merely fate, it was the quiet tragedy of a man who deserved more, but chose the wrong hill to stand on. And Arjuna's rise wasn't just victory, it was the weight of wisdom, earned through restraint and reflection. Now, 2 questions for thought. Who resonates more, Arjuna or Karna? And what holds more value, loyalty or truth? Share your answers in the comments, let's hear your perspective. If this story resonated, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful insights from epics and history. Until then, keep inspiring and stay inspired.